The new black student walks into school, and the whispers start immediately. His racist classmates tell him he doesn't belong and should just leave. When 16-year-old Jamal transferred to a new high school, he expected the usual challenges of being the new kid. But instead of a warm welcome, he faced cold stares, whispers, and outright hostility. The shocking way he turned it all around will leave you inspired. Have you ever been falsely accused or felt like no one believed you? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you overcame it, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Jamal had always been confident and outgoing, but moving to a predominantly white school in a small town was a new challenge. From his first day, it was clear that many of his classmates weren't thrilled about his presence. When he walked into the cafeteria, conversations would stop and students would glance at him, some even sneering. In the locker room, teammates avoided him, barely acknowledging his presence. One day, a group of boys confronted him by his locker. The leader of the group, a senior named Brad, sneered, "Why don't you go back to where you came from? You don't belong here." Jamal, trying to stay calm, replied, "I am just here to learn and play basketball, like everyone else." But the bullying didn't stop. They tripped him in the hallway, spread rumors about him, and even vandalized his locker, writing "Go home" in big, bold letters. Despite the constant harassment, Jamal refused to let them see him break. But deep down, he felt isolated and wondered if things would ever get better. One afternoon, during basketball tryouts, Jamal decided to let his skills do the talking. As the coach blew the whistle to start scrimmages, Jamal grabbed the ball and effortlessly weaved through defenders, sinking three-pointers and making impossible passes. The gym fell silent as his new teammates watched in awe. Even Brad, the team captain, couldn't hide his surprise. But what really shocked them came after the scrimmage. While cooling down, the coach pulled Jamal aside and said, "I didn't know your dad was Marcus Rivers." The room went quiet. Marcus Rivers was a retired NBA legend, known for his incredible career and philanthropic work. Jamal nodded, a little embarrassed. "Yeah, but I just want to be known for who I am, not for who my dad is." Word spread quickly. Suddenly, the same classmates who had ignored or bullied him were curious. They started asking questions about his dad, his life, and even asking for advice on their basketball skills. The first home game of the season was unlike anything Jamal had ever experienced. The gym was alive with inner cheerleaders led chants, the band played upbeat tunes, and the bleachers were packed with students, teachers, and families. For Jamal, this was his moment to prove not just to the team, but to the entire school what he could bring to the game. As soon as the whistle blew, Jamal wasted no time. He moved across the court like he was born to be there, quick on his feet, reading every play and delivering precise passes. He wasn't just playing, he was orchestrating the team's rhythm. Every time he scored, the crowd roared louder, and by halftime, his name echoed through the gym in chants that filled him with a sense of pride and belonging he hadn't felt before. But the real test came in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. The opposing team had clawed their way back, and now the score was tight. With just seconds left on the clock, Jamal's team was down by 2 points. The coach called for a timeout, and the players huddled together. All eyes were on Jamal. "You've got this," the coach said firmly, clapping Jamal on the shoulder. His teammates nodded, their trust in him clear. When play resumed, Jamal was laser-focused. The ball was passed in, and Jamal saw his chance. He intercepted a risky pass from the other team, stealing the ball cleanly. The crowd gasped as he sprinted down the court, weaving past defenders with effortless agility. The clock ticked down 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Jamal reached the three-point line, planted his feet, and took the shot. The ball arced high through the air, spinning in slow motion as everyone held their breath. When it swished cleanly through the net, the buzzer sounded, and the gym exploded into cheers. Students leapt to their feet, teammates tackled Jamal in celebration, and the sound of applause was deafening. As the crowd spilled onto the court after the game, Brad walked up to Jamal. The usual smirk on his face was replaced with a genuine smile. He held out his hand. "I was wrong about you," Brad said, his voice steady but sincere. "You are the real deal, Jamal." Jamal didn't hesitate. He shook Brad's hand firmly and replied, "Thanks. But let's make sure this team is about more than just winning. It's about respect." Brad nodded, and for the first time it felt like they were truly teammates, not just on the court but in spirit. The tide began to turn slowly but noticeably. Brad, along with the other students who had once mocked and belittled Jamal, began seeing him in a new light. At first, it was his skills on the court that caught their attention, the way he played, with focus and determination, always putting the team first. But over time, it was his actions off the court that earned their respect. Jamal wasn't just good at basketball. He was the kind of person who made everyone feel like they mattered. He started organizing team dinners and study groups, making sure no one felt left out. When a younger student was being teased in the hallway, Jamal stepped in without hesitation, reminding everyone that bullying had no place in their school. His attitude started to rub off on others. Brad, who once led the charge in excluding Jamal, began to follow his example. It wasn't easy for Brad to admit he had been wrong, but watching Jamal's quiet confidence and kindness made him realize that being a leader wasn't about tearing others down, it was about lifting them up. The change wasn't just within the team. Jamal's actions inspired conversations among the students and even the teachers. People started talking openly about inclusivity and respect, topics that had been brushed aside before. Teachers began incorporating lessons about empathy into their classes, and the school held assemblies where students could share their experiences and learn from one another. Little by little, the school's culture began to shift. Students who once felt out of place started to feel seen and valued. Diversity was no longer something to avoid or fear, it was something to celebrate. The hallways, once divided by cliques and unspoken rules, became a little friendlier, a little more open. And at the center of it all was Jamal. He hadn't set out to change the school, but by simply being himself, strong, kind, and unshakably had shown everyone what real leadership looked like. Jamal's story didn't just change his school, it inspired others in the community. His dad, Marcus Rivers, even visited the school to speak about the importance of unity and using sports as a way to bring people together. The school started hosting events celebrating different cultures, and Jamal's leadership on the basketball team became a symbol of how far they had come. Jamal's journey teaches us that resilience and talent can break down even the strongest barriers of hate and prejudice. It's a reminder that everyone deserves a chance to be seen for who they truly are, not judged by assumptions. And sometimes, when you stay true to yourself, you don't just win games, you win hearts and change minds. Subscribe for more inspiring stories of courage and unity. And let's work together to create a world where everyone is valued.